This is a 1939 Dampfkraftwagen stashed in a barn somewhere in the heart of Sweden. And that gentleman staring curiously at it is a pro restorer named Hampus Granström. Rumor has it that the car has been on this same spot for 60 years, but Granström's arrival could potentially change that. But how? You see, Granström isn't just a random car enthusiast. He is a skilled restorer with years of experience under his belt. And today, he's going to do everything within his power to breathe new life into this car. But can he really get it done? Let's find out together. Restoring a barn find is always tricky. On one hand, you know the car is protected from the harsh punishment of rain and other elements. But then again, the shield of a barn doesn't necessarily stop the spread of rust and the activities of rodents. Thankfully, in this case, there was little or no sign of rodent activity, and the interior was in decent shape. But the exterior was a whole different story. At this point, Granström decided he had seen enough. He thought, if the exterior was this bad, then there must be several other defects on the car, and he might not be able to properly assess them within the tight walls of this barn. So he strapped a tow rope to the front end of the car. The plan was to haul it straight to his garage where the transformation would happen. But a few meters into the journey, he discovered the tires were seized. Considering how long the car had been neglected, it was almost guaranteed that something would be wrong with the tires. So Granström wasn't particularly surprised. In fact, it seemed like he was prepared for this exact scenario. Because within minutes of discovering the problem, he got the perfect replacements and changed all 4 tires. Once that was done, this 1939 DKW resumed its journey, traveling through narrow paths and steep corners until it arrived at the workshop. Watching the car stroll into his garage must have felt like a win for Granström, but the real work was just about to begin. The moment he opened the engine, he was met with a sight that most experienced restorers recognize. Long lines of leaves camped around the edges, and several components were rusted. But here's the thing. Those are common issues you'd expect to find in an engine bay that has been abandoned for decades. So Granström wasn't fazed at all. On the contrary, he was keen to fix them as quickly as possible. But to do that, he needed to dismantle a few things first. Normally, you'd expect a restoration of this magnitude to begin with a full-scale teardown. You know, the type that reduces entire compartments into mere skeletons. But after observing the engine, Granström concluded that he didn't have to dismantle the whole thing. What this means is that he's going to remove and repair the components he thinks are faulty. If everything works out as planned, he's going to save time and complete the restoration faster. But if not, he would have to go through the rigorous process he was trying to avoid. That means tearing down the whole engine and repairing every component one after the other. Now, that's a big risk, but Granström stuck to his decision. Acting on intuition and the credible information he gathered during assessment, he repaired a few components on the engine. After repairs, he repackaged them and dropped a new battery in the engine bay. Next, he oiled some other parts, and then it was time to see if his little experiment was successful or not. For the first time in a long time, this engine was about to be cranked. But will it start? That didn't go as planned, and it's not really surprising, is it? I mean, the engine hasn't coughed in 6 decades, and surely it must take more than a quick fix to make it roar. So Granström doubled down his work. He replaced the ignition coils and tweaked a few things. Then he tried to fire up the engine again. This time, the spark plug showed signs of life, but the engine remained quiet. So Granström continued his debugging and restoration exercise. He ran through more components, fixing each one with care and precision. Then finally, he connected the battery and fired up the engine again. Unfortunately, the engine still wouldn't come on. After 3 unsuccessful tries, most people would have been discouraged, but Granström kept going. He cleaned the fuel tank inside out and tackled more components in the engine bay. After that, he climbed into the driver's seat, and for the umpteenth time in this restoration, he turned the ignition. Now, that's exactly what Granström was hoping for. After plenty of work and 4 unsuccessful attempts, this engine had finally come to life. That unique 2-stroke sound was a delight because it's not something you get to hear often. And to celebrate it, Granström decided to go for a ride. Ideally, most restorers refer to this part of the restoration as the test drive. But this was much more than that. It was a victory parade for a survivor who walked the surface of the Earth long before World War II was fought, and a brilliant advertisement for Granström's restorative skills. But come to think of it, founded by J.S. Rasmussen in 1906, Dampfkraftwagen, aka DKW, was one of the elite automobile brands of the early 20th century. They offered different products from steam engine cars to motorcycles and bicycle engines. But in 1932, the company suffered a catastrophic financial situation that forced it to cease production and merge with Audi, Wanderer, and Horch to form Auto Union AG. That collaboration gave birth to the 4 rings you see on Audi cars today. But back then, the companies involved continued to operate with their old names. Refreshed by this partnership, the DKW brand witnessed significant improvement in its operations. Its racing team won 4 European championships. And away from the track, the DKW F8 was born. Built as a compact front-wheel car that effectively replaced the aging F7 model, this cute German car featured a 2-stroke engine that generated between 18 and 20 horsepower. Today, those numbers have become a joke. 2-stroke engines are no longer used for cars, and a typical electric bike now clocks in at over 20 miles per hour on a random trip. But the importance of iconic cars like the DKW F8 cannot be underrated. They hold a special place in history and remind us what fast cars looked like before aerodynamics became popular. And when you think of it, that's why restorers are important. Through their works, they give destroyed cars a second chance and preserve their memories for future generations. So far, that's exactly what Hampus Granström has done. But right now, it was time to lock in and finish the job. He steered the car quietly to a car wash, grabbed a spray can filled with cleaning solution, and you just already know what's about to come next. He splashed the solution all around the car, from the tires to the body panels and the roof. Some parts even got a double dose of the spray because of their increased exposure to rust. But those newly installed tires got something extra. Sadly, that same hard scrub resulted in a different result when applied to the bonnet and body panels. Every swipe seemed to yank off a layer of paint. But Granström stuck to the process, and then he crowned it with a power wash. Now this was the moment of truth. After weeks of hard work, persistence, and trial and error, this 1939 DKW was ready for another lifetime of action. It's always nice to watch old cars come back to life, but this transformation was on another level. Hampus Granström has every reason to be immensely proud of what he's accomplished. He shouldered the responsibility of restoring this car when most people wouldn't even touch it. Day and night, he worked tirelessly, reversing years of neglect and extending its lifespan. And now, the results are in. Every turn was a sign of victory, and every kilometer covered was a powerful reminder that no matter how bad something looks, they can be restored. What part of the restoration did you enjoy the most? Let me know in the comment section, and don't forget to check out the channel for other exciting videos like this one.